What's up, YouTube? Today we're reacting to the story of the pump, the most iconic weapon in Fortnite, by proguides, Fortnite tips and tricks and guides.
It's the most iconic weapon in the history of Fortnite. Woo! A one-shot beast at close range.
I remember that. That was so bad. I hated that.
And Epic will probably never be done balancing it.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. You don't know about the W key, baby.
Season 1, the pumps did a lot. The gray pumps did a lot of damage. The 220
Punch
to the head.
motivation guy. I know a lot of us have been frustrated because we've been losing a lot in games and matches, but you know, VOD review, man, check your mistakes. And instead of losing, you're actually growing and learning. So you're not losing anymore, you're learning. All right, guys, it's time to get into the history of the pump shotgun. Here we go.
So the weapon is an absolute monster.
Oh,
I mean, it can take people out in a single hit if you have the aim to make it work, and it's the perfect tool to get you out of a tight spot. The pump has its highs, and the pump has its lows over the years of Fortnite, and it seems like Epic is never going to be done balancing it. So the pump shotgun has been around right since the beginning of Fortnite Battle Royale, when the mode was added in patch 1.6. It was one of only two shotguns, the pump and the tac, and it was by far the most powerful of the two. So capable of obliterating enemies in a single shot if you landed all your pellets, it was an early game monster, man, dispatching anybody who came your way. A well-placed headshot can make or break your early game. Originally, the pump shotgun could be found in common and rare rarities. The other forms weren't added until much later. If you had a common pump, the weapon had a fire rate of 0.7 shots per second, a magazine size of 5 pellets, and it would take 4.8 seconds to reload from empty. The uncommon and rare shotguns would both do slightly more damage and had a slightly faster reload time, though that was the only change between the variants. Of course, the pump was an immediate fan favorite. I mean, who wouldn't like a shotgun that could do immense damage in a single hit? But Epic was left with a little bit of a quandary. While the pump was a fairly balanced weapon when the game released, people would slowly start to get better at the game. I mean, build battles would become more hectic, and the average player's skill would increase, and slowly but surely it would become clear that Epic had a battle on their hands, a battle of balance. Okay, so real quick, man, if you want 24/7 on-demand coaching, make sure to check out proguides.com, where we have pro coaches ready to help you guys take your game to the next level, because right now it's all about raising your game. And also, we released our brand new Clicks Master Course, so you gotta head on over there today. You know, in order to raise your game, like I've been saying, you have to raise the time that you put into the game. You know, I know we want the platforms and we want to be known, and we want to be known as the best of the best, but you have to practice to make that happen. And so you have to literally fall in love with practicing and making yourself better, and that's how you're gonna discover your greatness. Motivational moment.
Let's see him. Oh my god, I remember that.
I remember 81.
I remember that was so cool.
First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. The first big issue, the sniper pump. Now, if you weren't playing Fortnite at the very beginning, there's a pretty high chance that you'd never encounter the horror of being about 200 meters away from an enemy before being blasted for 90 damage by their pump shotgun. Yeah, it was just absolutely horrifying.
Clips.
Something had clearly gone wrong in the coding of the pump shotgun, and it's just damage fall off range just seemed to be non-existent. So if you could see someone, you could pump them, right? And if you could pump them, you could hit them for a wild damage. So luckily, all of this sniper shotgun craziness only lasted for like a single day. I mean, they quickly passed the damage fall off range so that it would be more consistent, you know? So that it actually existed so that people would no longer be able to just one-shot pump enemies from like half a mile away. Trust me guys, like if you didn't have to go through this yourself, it was a good change. But with that change came something else, the birth of the inconsistent shotguns. Players weren't sure if it was a thing at first, maybe their shots were just a little bit off, but eventually the truth came to light. For some reason, man, like the pump shotgun just wasn't landing shots as it should have. You would get a headshot, like as if you would actually see the shot hit them straight in the head, but then for some reason, the game would just read it as a 6 damage body shot. I mean, it was not the best time for somebody to enjoy using the pump shotgun, and it's an issue that has come back multiple times over the game's history. You might think that inconsistent damage would be like the end of the pump shotgun, that it would just become so unusable with weird damage numbers that it would just fade away. That's basically the total opposite, guys, of what really happened. Instead, an exploit was found with shotguns and the weapon switching mechanics in the game. All of a sudden, the shotgun was just as dangerous as when it was as a sniper, though for completely different reasons. All of a sudden, the double pump had been born.
Wait, no.
This is the best moment.
Drop it,
for the
Ninja.
pumps.
Drop it. No. Now you're gonna use that double pump, Ninja. You're gonna use it, Ninja. You're not gonna drop it. You're gonna use the double pump shotgun. You're gonna become one with the double pump shotgun today, Ninja.
The double pump was the absolute peak of the pump shotgun, and it's something that players have been hoping it's going to come back basically since it was removed. Discovered by Daquan, the double pump strat was a strategy that used 2 or more pump shotguns to basically have a rapid fire shotgun with absolutely no firing delay between the shots. This suddenly meant that players could fire an impossible to deal with amount of shotgun shots back to back with no delay, laying an incredible amount of damage that just couldn't be matched by anybody else at close range. Obviously, Epic Games wasn't very happy with this meta-busting method of playing the game, and so after a while, they started to experiment with ways to nerf how overwhelmingly effective it was. So their first big nerf attempt was a nerf to the rarities of the weapon. The common and the uncommon shotgun were both upgraded in rarity. The common became uncommon, and the uncommon became rare. This was an attempt to make the pump more rare overall, hopefully leading to less people finding multiple shotguns so they could double pump. It wasn't effective. Next up, they tried to mess with the damage of their new uncommon and rare shotguns. Before this point, the uncommon shotgun had done 90 damage per shot, while the rare had done 95 damage per shot. After a hotfix on June 6, 2018, the uncommon did 80, while the rare did 85.
Pretty sure the rare pump still does 90. Did like 180 to the body now, I don't know.
Both of the rarities had their damage nerfed by 10 damage, and while it might have been a step in the right direction, it didn't really hit the crux of the issue. So a good double pumper could still just wipe out a full shield, full health enemy in 3 quick pump shots. So Epic went back to the drawing board entirely. Their third attempt was with a new equipped animation. When you switch from weapon to weapon, the equipped animation would just now take a moment longer. And during that time, you would now no longer be able to fire the weapon until the pump equipped animation was completed. It made the rate of fire of the double pump a lot slower, but skilled players were still able to make the strategy work. So the final nail in the coffin for the double pump didn't come until Chapter 1 Season 5. This updated was dubbed by many as a massive bug update, which overhauled a lot of Fortnite's key system. One of those key systems was how the game handles switching weapons, specifically the pump shotgun. So if you were to now switch from one pump to another weapon after shooting, there would be a brief cooldown hard-coded into the game, stopping you from just switching from one pump to fire to another. It utterly just stopped the double pump in its tracks, though some weaker variations of the technique have supposedly been found at multiple points over Fortnite's history. Some complained about their favorite strat being nerfed into the ground. Others rejoiced, as the most overpowered method of attack in Fortnite was now gone. So the next major change to the pump shotgun wouldn't happen until patch 6.31, and this time, it wasn't a nerf. If anything, it was a major buff. 2 new versions of the pump had finally been added to the game: the purple epic pump shotgun and the golden legendary pump shotgun. The epic version of the weapon would deal 105 damage per shot, while the legendary would do 110 damage per shot. I mean, not only that, the old uncommon and rare pumps have been buffed as well. The uncommon now did 95 damage per shot, while the rare did a whole 100 damage per shot. Wow. With the new changes to the double pump, Epic felt like increasing the base damage of the pump shotgun would be absolutely fine. And for the most part, I mean, it was. For a while, the game felt much better balanced. I mean, you couldn't just double pump anybody anymore. But each shot you did manage to hit would deal a whole lot more damage. So we were being rewarded for being accurate. And you know what? That felt good.
No pump shotgun. That's right, the pump shotgun is gone. One of the most versatile, balanced weapons in the game, except maybe the gold and purple pump, they were a bit OP. But the other pumps, the green and blue ones, they were pretty balanced, I thought.
Until everything was changed once again, and the pump shotgun was actually put into the vault in Season 9. So Epic claimed that the reason for this change to the weapon lineup was because out of all the weapons in the game, eliminations from the pump shotgun actually accounted for 26% of all eliminations, and it earned across the entire game. And by Epic's logic, I mean, that meant that they needed to be put on the back burner for a bit. Each new season was meant to feel fresh and new, so into the vault it went with the combat as its replacement. The community wasn't really happy about this. The pump shotgun made up for so many eliminations because it was one of the most fun weapons to use. So of course, a bunch of people started to complain. Eventually, Epic bent to the pressure. Well, sort of. They reintroduced the uncommon and rare variants of the shotgun a few patches later, keeping the common, epic, and legendary versions locked away in the vault. So the other versions of the pump stayed locked away in the vault until Chapter 2 Season 1. With the complete rebirth of the Fortnite Island, the pump shotgun had been changed pretty heavily. The common, epic, and legendary versions of the shotgun were all back, but the weapon had been drastically nerfed across almost every variant. The common version of the pump would only do 70 damage per shot, while the uncommon would do 80. The rare would do 90, and the epic would do 100. The legendary pump remained unchanged though, still doing 110 damage with every single shot. Suffice it to say, man, none of us were exactly happy about these changes. I mean, all of a sudden the lower levels of the pump shotgun had gone from being a one-shot wonder to being a weapon that, at the common end of the scale, dealt less damage per shot than the faster firing tactical shotgun. Ever since the changes, the common shotgun has barely felt usable. So after the pumps were nerfed and added back to the game, I mean, I'm sure a lot of us were just hoping that Epic would finally have done something to change the weapon around, and hoping that maybe in the future the only changes to the weapon would be some much needed buffs to the common. Unfortunately though, that's not really how it turned out. And before we knew it, the pump was stolen away from us once again in Chapter 2 Season 3. Instead of the pump this time,
Chapter 2 Season 3 was the worst season ever.
we would have the charged shotgun, which was probably the strangest shotgun to ever be added to Fortnite. Instead of just rapid firing like the tac or the combat, this shotgun was even slower to fire than the pump, allowing players just to charge up a shot for massive damage. I mean, it took some really getting used to. I know a lot of people hated it, and it definitely required a completely different play style than the pump. Luckily though, just one season later, the pump was back once again, and it hadn't been buffed in any way, so the common pump was still pretty useless. The only change this time around was that the weapon could be side graded to the charged shotgun, or the charge could be side graded to the pump. Though that feature got removed during the Fortnite Bears event, since the charged shotgun was vaulted during that patch. Though, once again, the pump wasn't with us for long. At the beginning of Chapter 2 Season 5, the pump was shoved right back to the vault, and instead, the tactical shotgun and the charged shotgun were brought back out of retirement.
So, guys, I mean, that was the history of the pump. It went from being a sniper rifle of doom and despair to the quick switching horror of the double pump before settling down into a much more balanced form. I mean, it's come a long way and it's nowhere as good as it used to be, but the pump shotgun is still one of the most iconic weapons in the game, and hopefully we'll all get a chance to use it again soon. Bunch of crunch charming, so proud of you guys. If you guys liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to connect with me on my Instagram at Your Motivation Guy.
Alright. So that was the story of the pump by proguides. Alright, please like this video. Bye.